Hi, I'm Jeremy Blowers, the Executive Director of the Ontario Regiment RCAC Museum in Oshawa, Canada. In 2019, we sent some of our members on a recce to Conneaut during D-Day, Ohio. We had hoped in 2020 that we'd be able to join you there and show off some of our Canadian and Commonwealth World War II vehicles. Since the event has been canceled due to COVID-19, we're helping out with D-Day Ohio by sending you this video, which will highlight some of our World War II collection and some of the other vehicles here at the museum.
So this is a Jeep that made it home. The story behind this Jeep is clouded in mystery. However, what we have been able to find out is that this was actually the Jeep for the officer commanding B Squadron. In Italy, he was an officer commanding, a major commanding a squadron, would fight his company from a tank. But when he had to go liaise with other people, when he had to go talk to the infantry about a planned attack, he wouldn't drive his tank over there, he would drive a Jeep over there. So this is known as the Rover, the officer commanding Rover, or OC Rover. So this was his Rover. He was driving in Italy with his driver when they were shelled. He was wounded in the arm. He had to be evacuated, and one of the last things he told his driver is, "Don't let anyone steal my Jeep." Jeeps don't require keys, and stealing each other's Jeeps was a national pastime among the Allied forces. So the officer is evacuated after giving his last orders to his excellent driver. He goes to the hospital. He loses his arm is amputated, and he finds himself back in Canada on his farm and basically recovering. What happens is, one day, about 6 months after the war is over in Europe, he receives a phone call on his farm, and it's his old driver. And his driver says, "Sir, your Jeep's in Trenton." Trenton's about an hour and a half east of here. It's a very large Air Force base used mainly for transport command. Well, there's two rules in the Army. One rule is that an excellent NCO can accomplish anything. Secondly, an excellent officer knows when not to ask the NCO how it was accomplished. So, the officer, being a very good officer and not being particularly stupid himself, basically figured out what he had to do. So he quickly drove down to Oshawa to a used car dealership where they had some surplus vehicles. He bought the rattiest surplus Jeep, brought it home, removed the VIN number, registered it, got a license plate, drove to Trenton, found the Jeep, swapped out the VIN numbers, and drove the Jeep home to his farm. Now, how the actual Jeep got to Canada was apparently an interesting story of which there are various versions, but to put it all together, basically his driver became really good friends with American Air Transport Command people. And he managed to convince them to put the Jeep on an airplane flying back from Europe to North America. The airplane, I assume the pilot said, "Oh, we seem to have engine trouble," so they landed in Trenton, unloaded the Jeep, took off and carried on their way. The officer gave this Jeep to his wife to use as the second car. She painted it pink, put pom-poms along it, and for the next 30, 40 years, it was well known around the Durham region as Evie's Jeep. And she drove it all over the place. The officer remained part of the family, the regimental family, and became one of the honorary colonels. What eventually happened is the Jeep needed to be rebuilt. It was in pretty awful condition. We rebuilt it. It was given to the Fair Club, the Ontario Regiment Museum. The Jeep was completely rebuilt, repainted green, as opposed to being painted pink, which is his wife's favorite color. And basically what happened was it was returned to the family. Unfortunately, the officer died shortly thereafter, and the family gifted the Jeep back to the museum. So, while it is just a Jeep, it is not just a Jeep. It is a Jeep that served with this regiment in World War II and came home.
Thanks for watching and your interest in the Ontario Regiment RCAC Museum. If you can't visit us here in Ontario, subscribe below so you can catch all of our videos in our different series. If you can, visit the gift shop in the link below, get some great tank swag, and support our museum. We also ask, if you are able, please consider donating. Thanks again.